All right. We got a big best of 5 here between Dragon Phoenix Gaming Zest in the top right and his opponent Shopify Rebellion's Byun. Now, I, going into this series, was thinking, you know what? It's the semi-finals here of a weekly cup. There's about $400 on the line here if you can make it up to that finals or not. $800 prize pool in total for the tournament. But more importantly, I was like, look, guys, keep your expectations low. Zest may just stomp Byun. Zest dominates these online cups. He's so good. Byun's really not that hot right now. Even though we still love watching his games, he's very fun. He's a high-level player. Compared to the very top-level opposition, he's having a rough time. And then I looked up the stats, and I saw that Byun has actually been the kryptonite for Zest. Zest is smashing Cure lately, smashing a lot of the top Terrans. Byun's actually been 3-1ing him, 3-0ing him, 3-2, 3-2. Some of them were closer series, but he's been smashing him. He's been doing a lot of those ITAX show matches that people have been hosting. And essentially, that's super surprising because I look at their results across the board and I'm like, dude, Zest is like a way stronger player than Byun right now. But the fact is, Byun has like a 52% overall record, and the last 2 or 3 best of 5s they played were actually all in Byun's favor. So Byun actually is going to be really exciting, and I think that's cool. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Byun is a player who he has a very cute puppy, number 1, that he got as he gave as a reward for was it winning a GSTL match like 8 years ago or something. He's a cute puppy. He's adorable. He was playing without a team back when everyone was on pro league teams with salaries and coaches and people, practice partners whose job it was just to grind builds against them and give them specific practice. And he was playing on his own when he came back from, I don't know if it was military or just a bit of a break. I think it was just a bit of a break he'd taken. And he came back and he was practicing on his own. And people were like, yeah, you can't be good practicing on your own. Like, you can't be as good as these guys. And he won the grand finals in 2016 of the World Championship. He won a GSL, which we were already shocked at. And then he won BlizzCon in one of the most epic series of all time against Dark. And single-handedly got Terran nerfed. Like, the map pool got changed to be bigger maps because Byun's aggressive, attacks were too good. That steadily changed over the year or two following that. But immediately after that grand finals, with the big end of year patches that they used to do, they nerfed Reapers really hard because he was just too good at microing Reapers. No one else could really pull it off, but he just went mass Reapers and murdered Zergs, and it was so hard for Dark to handle. And they also got rid of the tank drop. So this was back when you could actually pick up and drop sieged tanks in siege mode. Now, we'll talk about that more in the future, because he's actually got concussive shell marauders. He's trying to catch that shade, but good micro by Zest gets out of there away from those marauders. I'm a big hater of this build order from Byun, the marauder poke, but as long as he doesn't go across the map, it's going to force at least 1 or 2 more gateway units out. Notice he's chrono boosting another stalker. A lot of players will drop a shield battery as well. Zest, though, very brave, doesn't even bother. He says, nah, I know that you can't actually commit with this attack. And he even confirms, goes back in there. Did he get an SCV? He doesn't. So he loses the Adept, but that tells him, you know what? I know the Marauders are at home. I don't need a shield battery. He's going to move over, drop a Forge? What? What is this build order from Zest? This is crazy. He's going 2 Gate Blink, which is super standard. So it's gateways, get a gateway, get a Twilight, start Blink, add a second gateway. But normally you'd go Robo there, or a 3rd gateway. But to go for a Forge, so that's kind of cool. It means he's going to start upgrades real early. It also means he's maybe going to skip Robo all game and just use cannons. If Widow Mines come in and they're cloaked or Banshees, he'll say, look, I can't build observers. I'll just drop a cannon in each mineral line and at least cover my economy that way. So that's actually cool. A bit of a variation. Now, Byun is not doing a 3 barracks. He's gone 2 barracks behind this, and he's actually building a bunch of Widow Mines and a Medevac, and I think he'll swap the factory and the starport around in a moment. Oh no, he's actually going to do... Oh, so it's kind of like delayed Widow Mine drops, but mass Widow Mine production. Engineering Bay goes down as well. It's a cool setup for Byun. Now, I wonder if he goes 3rd barracks, or does he go straight for the 3rd command center? Does he want to ramp up the production or not? Oh, he's been really risky with his drops lately, guys. He's going to get punished here. Byun's been really risky with his drops. I've pointed this out in a few of his series. He often just flies straight through the middle of the map with drops and hopes the opponent isn't there. And he's been getting punished for this in a big way. I mean, if he was this sort of drop, especially so delayed, you normally want to send that right along the edge to make sure your opponent doesn't see it. Byun with a big mistake, he's going to just straight up lose two Widow Mines and a Medevac. An unnecessary loss there. And with such a greedy build from Zest, I mean, look at this, guys. He's just going up to 4-gate blink. He's now adding a very delayed robo. And he's feeling great about his situation. Third barracks goes down on the reactor. Notice, lots of marine production. Marines, very high damage, good at clearing out zealots at depths. But they are nowhere near as tanky as Marauders. They're very vulnerable to splash damage. Marauders have 125 hit points. They also have 1 base armor. Marines, no armor and only 45 hit points. So if there's like Psystorms or the Colossus, even Archon hits that aren't really long range but do good splash damage, anything like that can kill the Marines pretty quickly. Also, if the Marines simply get trapped, say, up against a force field and the Zealots are able to land hits on them, they go down really fast. So it's more of a glass cannon army, very Marine heavy. He's also building tanks, which are a very long-ranged anti-armored unit. Good for shooting down like Stalkers and Colossus from afar. Not very good versus Zealots. So he's saying, look, I'll defend against Stalkers, Colossus, those long-range units with the tanks, and the Marines will gun down the Zealots that try to collapse in on top of me. Speaking of Zealots, it's a mass Zealot style, guys. He's going Stalkers, a few sentries, and he's going into charge and just mass Gateway Zealot. 59 probes here. And you know what? Byun is known for non-stop tank production at the moment. He's known for, even if he'll build some Widow Mines, he likes to swap into the tech lab and build non-stop. Once again, a dangerous drop path from Byun. And this just tells you he's absolutely crazy. I'm telling you guys, the other day I was casting Byun, and he saw Stalkers had him contained here. He picked up his army here and just flew straight right. He didn't even go south side. He's like, nah, they won't notice. I was like, dude, you're contained by Blink Stalkers right now. Ooh, good scout by Zest. Get out of there. If I was Byun, I would have immediately ran home. As long as he doesn't pick up, I think he's okay, though. Yeah. Ooh, focus fire on the Marauder. Really good micro. Picks off the Marauder and then disengages. He's got to let those shields regenerate. Let his blink come off cooldown. Nice micro by Zest. Army moves through the left as well, but the Observer tracking it. And guys, I talk a lot about what makes Zest so good in this matchup. It's his Observer movement. He'll leave it outside your base, but once you get aggressive, he'll try to pull them home and set up a defensive ring around his bases. Now, getting that Observer is huge because it was the only one on the map. And you can see Zest here is going for budget spotters. He's building pylons on the edges to kind of fill those holes because he can't let himself get surprised by a drop. And this is a huge 2-base push. It's 3 barracks of non-stop bio production. Zest getting great value. He gets another Marauder. Does lose a Stalker for that one. And here we go. He's going to shove right on in. Lots of Zealots. The battery overcharge. And those 2 Immortals, though, very powerful units. The Marines trying to stutter step back. He's got to pull back away from these units. Another tank does come in on the south side. The Marines, though, manage to clean out the Zealots. He's going to pull back, though. Does not want to fight near the batteries. If he could get rid of the Immortals, it takes a lot of power out of this army. Those Immortals, they kill Marauders, they kill tanks really quickly. And both sides just posturing here. It's mass army versus mass army. Third CC starting. Byun, I think, anticipating this move from Zest. Both of them just out of vision. They haven't spotted each other yet. Here we go. Stalker's coming forward. Byun with a nice... Oh, look at that. Zest just clicks a Marauder, blinks away. His Blink Stalker control is out of this world. Behind this, Templar Archives and 2 gases. So he hasn't added any more probes, but he's just transferred the extra probes as his main mineral patches are starting to run out, about 8 minutes 30. He's taking these gases, probably Storm. He may just focus on Zealot, Archon, Immortal, a real big fighting kind of melee type composition. But I would imagine, knowing how Zest likes to play, Psystorm, very high chance of that coming in next. Third command center's on the way here. We've got a 4th and 5th barracks. He's going to go for a double Liberator harass maybe, or maybe he's just looking to spot Warp Prisms coming in. 4th and 5th barracks, he's going to add Tech Lab Reactor. And he's actually noticed swapped one of his barracks off the reactors, and he swapped it with the factory. So he's actually going back into Widow Mine play, and that makes a lot of sense. Why? Mass Zealot, you want a lot of Widow Mines. Like I said, the siege tanks aren't very good versus Zealots. So against a very heavy Zealot style, he wants the Widow Mines, which just do massive splash. And look at this, Zest replacing his Observers. He sees everything, and he's got a giant Zealot run by. I always talk about how against Zest, it's really important to have spotters out here and here. So if you're pushing the left side, he's always going to wait for you to overcommit to a push. Nice scan, catches the Observer, and that's when he comes in with his big Zealot swing on your rally. And that's what kills a lot of Terran players against Zest. Even when it looks like Q is doing well, it's always the moment where he overextends on a push, and these Zealots are just waiting for that. So Zest will wait. He won't just send them in randomly. He'll wait for the Observer to see the army come, and then as the fight starts on the front, that's when the Zealots go in, when the Terran is most distracted and most overextended. And look at the rally points of Byun. Not the command center, sorry, but just the the barracks. So he's rallying out there, and no wall off on the natural, which means he's even more exposed. He scans, kills another observer. Oh, he does spot this army. Byun, you just lost an SCV there, buddy. Oh, this is so dangerous. Zest is gonna bust him with a giant storm drop and zealot attack. I was talking before the series started about how he might try this because Byun's such a siege tank focused player. Quick abandonment on the SCVs. The zealots are on top of them though. The main, the natural, all gonna be getting breached. The SCVs getting hammered here. And that storm drop, very dangerous. He did do one storm drop. Byun did a great spread. The zealots on all sides. Okay, Byun manages to hold his ground. He's gonna get rid of the observers there, but he's afraid of the storms. Oh, the storm drops with the big old punish there. And Byun not paying attention to his map vision. He saw with an SCV the army. If he turned around, he could have got back in position, but he messes it up. GG, Zest takes game 1. We're at map number 2. Zest in the bottom left of Oxide, Byun in the top right. And I was saying, actually, before the series started, I don't know if that was there for the YouTube or not, but it was actually me saying, you know what? Byun likes to produce tanks nonstop and play a real slow late game style. Or at least kind of late mid game, early late game style. I don't know how you want to define it. He still does timing attacks and things, but he likes to just play very safe with tanks on the high ground. And all the good Protoss players, Trap, Zest, they are so good at just busting players that do that with big Zealot, Archon, and Storm Drop styles. Because there's always a point where if you just bust in with Zealot Archon, tanks aren't that effective, especially if the Terran's silly enough to leave them all on the low ground and not put them behind walls on the high ground, behind depot walls and stuff like that. Zealots just get on top. Tanks don't do enough damage. And there's usually a point where the Terran's like adding 2-2, adding ghosts, adding more barracks, and they just don't quite have the critical mass of bio. And if you just get 1 or 2 good storms on the bio, the tanks start getting broken by the zealots and things go really messy really quick. So this is a bit of a trickier opening here for Byun. And he's only got 2 on gas, though. I mean, this looks like a gas first quick factory build, guys. But it's not. So it's just a barracks gas. 3 racks, is it? Oh, he sends that. Okay, so this is a super mineral 3 racks build. Yeah. So he's making it look like a 1-base play. He wants to bait an overreaction out of Zest. Now, the problem I always find in these games is that the Protoss often doesn't really react. And it feels like the Terran... It's a somewhat intangible lead that you get in these scenarios. Oh my god, Zest is going to proxy Void Ray him? No. People keep trying to do proxy Void Ray on this map versus expands over here. Now, he doesn't know it's an expand. He thinks it's a 1-base play. And he's thinking of proxy busting him. Stargate, Robo, Gateway, what is it? It's a Gateway! Okay, so he's just going to do a gate bust. You know what, guys? Oh, Zest learning from Parting. Guys, so he's going to build a 3rd gateway at home. This is exactly what Parting keeps doing versus 1-base plays. And he showed against Clem that it's really counters a 1-base play. Little does he know, this is an expand into 3 racks. This is not a cheeky Widow Mine drop. This is not a cheeky Hellion drop. That's what Zest is opening to run into. Is he's open to just kill a player who swapped a factor into the reactor, is building shit units that won't do well. Now, the problem for Byun, he does not have a bunker. Oh, he does pull back to the high ground. That's very important because he didn't scout at all. He could just die. Adepsi, the barracks is still on the reactor. That might give Zest a little bit of pause. He's got a 2nd gas mining, so it's not the super 1-gas version. And he's built a Robo as well. So Zest is still kind of feeling this one out, guys. And he's trying to get his Adepts here to see if there's a drop coming out. Lots of Marines building, very vulnerable to Adepts. Now, remember, the classic Parting build was a 318 warp in, but if you've done a more standard 20 Nexus, this is always going to be later. Does he commit? No, he thinks a drop's coming, guys. He thinks there might be a Hellion drop, so he's got an Adept and 3 Stalkers at home. Now, he's not building the shield batteries, but he's putting spotting pilots on the edge. So Zest misreading this. Does he see the command center there? I think he might have just glimpsed the command center. And he starts a warp prism. He's not probing right now. Zest is not building much economy. And he sees the command center. He sees the Marines. No probes. Zest is going all in. Zest warps in 3 Stalkers on the front. Guys, he's going all in. There's no bunker. Byun is dead. I don't, maybe if he pulls SCVs, his bio's grouping up. That's very important. His bio's grouping up. Byun needs to react so quickly. Run, Byun, pull the boys, pull the boys, pull the boys. Oh my God, his Marines are taking so much damage. Those are the important unit here. He needs to pull more SCVs. If he can get a bunker up, obviously he's fine. To not build a bunker here, I think is a little wild. He's obviously keeping up a lot of unit production. That's the more important thing, is just keep units building. Don't pull back from the ramp. Don't give up the ramp for one adept. Oh, Byun gets baited back a little bit. That allows the stalkers onto the high ground. A big mistake from Byun. And he still doesn't pull SCVs. Okay, there we go. Now he lets the SCVs tank a little bit. Good choice. He can afford to lose SCVs here. His S economy is pretty trash. Yeah, Zest has a worker lead, but it's like 3 or 4. It's not a lot. Oh, and Stim comes in. I think that was a bit of a preemptive Stim, because look at the way Zest just pulls back, uses the prism. And Byun feints backwards and then immediately turns around, gets 2 stalkers for it, and he didn't even have to use a stim for that feint as well. That was really well done. So Zest is trying to hunt him down because he says, look, I know you can't keep stimming here, man. This is very expensive on both sides. The stalkers do not have blink. The Marine Marauder doing, oh no. Oh man, this did not go well for Zest. 20 Marines. A Marauder, 5 SCVs for a few Adepts and Stalkers. Now, of course, Zest is still locked in a struggle here to do damage, but where is the bunker? I said it earlier, you've got to respect when a player is doing this sort of aggression. Even with the 3 racks where you feel like I have more units, I can win. I think Byun might be a little cocky here. I'd like to see him focus fire some of the Stalkers in the back. You can see he got one of them there. You don't want to shoot the front guys. That's what Zest's picking up. But you know what? Might just have the damage output. No, Zealots and an Immortal. That Immortal, absolute predator upon the Marauders. And Zest is going to take another game here. Zest, just a great decisive timing attack. Even though I think this was probably one of the less ideal scenarios, Zest just confidently pushes through. And he says Zest is chest. And kills 26 SCVs. I mean, he'll lose in those Zealots, I guess, in the tail end of this. But a 19 SCV Terran, oof. And he's still trading? Oh my God. He's just going to try and keep picking things off. Very dangerous with a 23 hit point Warp Prism. Now he's still building SCVs. Is Byun trying to get back in this? If he could get a medevac out or something, it would be nice. I mean, it's tempting to just thrust across the map and try to win the game. Oh, he gets the Prism. All right, that's going to be a dead Immortal, dead. He focuses 1 Marauder. He gets 2 Marauders before he goes down. Zest makes the most of it. So this was a really good cheeky macro build where he hides what he's doing, does Byun, but he ends up taking massive damage. And I do feel like Zest doesn't need to still be on the map. Okay, so Zest is still attacking. He's going to do an 8 gate here. He's got a Twilight, but he's not used it yet. I don't know why he's going out to greet Byun on the map. Seems a little unnecessary here. And he loses an Immortal for it. Sentry as well. Zest, don't throw this game, buddy. What? Did he not realize how many SCVs he killed there? Byun took game-ending damage, and then Zest was like, yo, I'm too far behind. He has Stim Bio. Don't get me wrong. The tech of Zest wasn't great, but he had a Robo. It wasn't just an upgraded gateway unit, so he has Immortals. He can make Sentries. He has a Twilight finished. He can make Charge or Blink. That there was a terrible choice to continue walking Immortals across and throwing them away. I understand the GG after losing those units, but why was he still out there? He was going for another 8-gate attack. I cannot believe. That was a wild misstep from Zest. And Byun gets a game despite being too greedy to build a bunker, and his first stim was poorly chosen by Byun. Big mistakes from Byun. Zest punishes it, and then Zest says, well, it's not fair if I only spank you. I should also spank myself. And he's like, let's spread the punishment. And it was an odd choice there from Zest. Really odd choice. Goes a bit too all in. I think overestimating the power of the Stim Bio there and underestimating his own economical advantage. So that ties up the series, which I'm personally very happy about, guys. Because, basically, you just want to, I want more Byun game. I want more Zest game. I want to see this series go on. Byun's in the top left. He's doing a gas first. He wants to do a quick factory build. He's going to do that barracks quick factory and a reactor potentially. And that is wild. I'm waiting for the Twitch chat reaction as I'm casting this with a 2-minute delay today as it's a live tournament. And I just can't wait to see exactly what... Everyone's like, yep, Zest has got it. Yeah, yep. And there's about to be a whole bunch of WTFs dropping in the chat. There's a lot of exclamation marks, a lot of all caps, what? A lot of WTFs, a few LMAOs, a few OMFGs. Oh, man. I do understand once he lost those immortals, why he tapped guys, because that was obviously his power units. But yeah, he was dealing. I mean, honestly, we just watched Byun was the knight in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. He was the Black Knight, and he was down to hopping around on one stump and trying to bleed on Zest, and Zest was like, "Well, oh shit, I capitulate, man." It's kind of wild, dude. Because yeah. So if he didn't have the Robo, didn't have the 3 gateways, it's a little different, but. Having a Robo up, having a Twilight, having 8 gateways on the way. I mean, he was only on 40 probes. So don't get me wrong, it's a 2 gas Protoss setup. It's not the greatest. There's no splash damage. But yeah, I mean, Byun couldn't even really afford to build double medevac production there. Like, he was going to swap his starport on his reactor and be like, we can afford 1 medevac every 2 minutes. Like, he was on such a low income, man. Chat's asking if there's a way to select a tech lab or reactor from your add-ons, from your control group. Well, you'd need to put the add-on itself on a control group, and then you could select it. You can just tab over to it. I've never done that. I always manually click it. I use camera location over my production, so I just jump back to the production and I just click the buildings. I do a lot of manual producing off individual buildings. You'll see me do that a lot, especially in the early game. So guys, this is a 1-base Hellion drop. And he's going to go Twilight, 2 gate. So this is a 2-gate blink versus a 4 Hellion drop from Byun here. This could do a lot of damage. This medevac feels a little late. He should still be dropping by about 345. Now, this can go really well or really poorly depending on Zest's vision. Now, Zest is setting up a pylon there and a pylon there. And that means I think he's going to focus his units in the main, which is perfect read. He has no idea where it's coming from. He's only got 2 units right now, guys, and he full walls with his shield battery, just a temporary full wall because he knows the timing this will come in. And he's got 3 Stalkers and an Adept. He's focusing the medevac first, because if he doesn't, that allows the Hellions to pick up and go to the next base. Ooh, not the best angling from Byun. He shot his Hellions all in different directions there. That was a really sloppy focus fire from Byun. He could have got a few more kills. He will get 7. Don't think he gets any more than that. No, he saves a Hellion. That's something. 7 probes it's not great. When your command center is this late, it's not amazing. I would also say it's not the end of the world because, well, he's on 2 base, 30 probes. Your command center is finishing. You've already got a tank, so you're very safe behind it. He's adding a Raven as well, which he's actually rallying across the map to drop auto turrets, but he's rallying it on a very dangerous path. Oh, a Hellion comes back in, guys. He's not going to get anything, though. Zest just pulls the weak probes to the left side. Well done. Good handling there by Zest, who's now got Blink. He's got a Prism. Does he kill the shield battery? No, he just picks up the Adept and blinks across the wall. Raven, once again, I told you guys, Byun, very dangerous with how he moves his units across the map. Like, it's actually wild the way he just is so confident moving through the middle of the map versus a guy who has Blink. Barely doesn't get spotted. He's got a tank there, a tank there. I don't think there's really a way in for Zest. Oh, gets a free medevac. That also should have been queued along the very edge. Byun's so dangerous with his movement on the map, guys. Oh, look at that. The probes preemptively pull, so Byun just doesn't even drop the auto turret, just flies away. Prism's going in towards the main 3 Stalkers and an Adept. The Marines have to go there. Meanwhile, Stalkers blink in, get 2 SCVs there. Pulls back from the tank fire. Great micro by Zest. And Drilly Boys plus Marines, he's going to try and focus fire these Stalkers. 6 SCVs go down. Look at that, the SCVs. Oh, dude, Byun. Some sloppy play here. He does drop an auto turret in the main, which is actually going to kill a few of these probes, but he's lost 10 SCVs at home. Oof. Depot's burning. Stalker's there. Did he lose a single Stalker? Nuh-uh. He lost 3 probes only. Another auto turret comes in, gets a bit of mining time, only kills 1 probe, so great reaction by Zest. He's going to keep looking for the drop harass. The Stalker's being annoying. Tempting to, of course, shuffle this tank next to the bunker, but then it's a little more exposed to the blink forward that will snipe it down. Great tank in the main. He's got a tank and a bunch of Marines covering in the middle as well. So it looks like he's survived for now, has Byun. But just losing more SCVs than I think he should have. 10 SCVs, a little bit too much. And this is slowing down. His 3rd barracks just coming down at almost 630. Oh, the blink forward for the tank. Sorry, I missed that, guys. Trades 2 Stalkers for a tank. Gets another SCV as well. Worthy trade there for Zest. Lowering that tank count. And he's going mass gateway in charge. So, man, this is not how Zest has been playing at all recently. But he realizes that Byun loves lots of tank production. So he's going heavy on the Zealots. Byun, though, making the adaptation to how Zest is playing this series is saying, actually, I need Widow Mines because this guy's playing really Zealot heavy. He doesn't even know in this game, I don't think, that it's Zealot heavy. But he's just made that read. And look at this, guys. He's keeping 4 Stalkers pinned at home. Meanwhile, Viking would like to hunt down the Warp Prison, but he doesn't want to lose that to the Stalkers. Only 3 volleys from those 3 Stalkers to kill the Viking. He'll get it. Sloppy Viking control there by Byun. And look at this. Now he's bleeding out Marines. Oh, Zest is getting way too much value in this game, guys. Way too much value. And guess what? The tanks got shuffled to the front. This is Zest value town, this game. I don't think it's game over because Zest has been committing a lot to the fighting. He doesn't have long game tech. It's Sentries, Immortals, Charge, all with no upgrades, right? So it's not really a big economic advantage. You've got Stim Bio Medevac. You've got 2 tanks anchoring it. You could argue it's a pretty even compositional matchup. You know, you've got Charge, you've got Immortals, you've got Sentries, you got Blink for maneuverability, but they've got Stim Bio, Widow Mines, they've got tanks anchoring it. Really comes down to how the fights go. Of course, the problem is Protoss does have the 3rd mineral line open, whereas the 3rd command center hasn't even started. So that gives an income advantage to Zest, but with mules, it's smaller than you think. It's still a very similar worker count. It's like a couple hundred minerals a minute right now. Obviously, that's going to vary up and down based on when mules are dropping. Prism doesn't quite see that drop, which is probably the first time I've seen Byun actually queue up a conservative drop path today. Now, what's funny about Byun, guys, is most players, there's a general rule, which is wait for the time to drop. Leave it in the dead space, hide it, and then go in when there's other things happening. Byun always, you can see, cues his drops to just go in, and he relies on his absolutely amazing speed to kind of realize, oh yeah, it's in there, bam, that's cool, like let's go control it, let's make sure it does its job. And he very rarely retasks it, very rarely. But that means he might fly into the Stalkers and lose it. If he's not watching, if he's distracted, and losing even more Marauders on the front, dude, he's got to show us some of those Byun hot pickups in the medevacs, man. Oh, mass Zealot coming in for the backstab. Dude, Zest is so well prepared. He's read him like a book. There's nothing there. He's rallied across the map. 20 Zealots. What is this, like 14, 15 Zealots come in. An insane counterattack from Zest. He has to raise the wall. The SCVs are going down. He has to stim his whole army back. You know what? Good mineral walk to the 3rd. If he tried to run to the main, they'd be locked out. They'd be in trouble. But also Zest says, okay, fine. Fine. You brought your whole army back. I'll recall. I lost a few Zealots, but I killed a bunch of Bio. Got some SCVs. Got some mining time. And I'm going to get ready for round 2 of that while my Zealots pull home to defend. It looks like the Raven just went down, guys. Ooh, Stalkers get the SCV voting the command center. That's so annoying. And Zest feels now he's bought himself enough time to go Templar Archives. He says, okay, well, the big fight has now been delayed so long that I don't think charge lots will necessarily cut it. So I've got to start heading towards that next piece of tech. But Byun, still keen to move out across the map. Oh my god. Oh, damn, some great Widow Mines. Unfortunately, those Zealots on red hit points barely surviving the final one. Phoenix does spot the army. Stalkers say, hey, my name's Zest and I'd like to get free pickoffs. He is a goddamn bargain hunter. Seriously, Zest is down at the Terran secondhand store, rifling through the discount bin, seeing what he can find. And he's finding all the specials, apparently. The number of units he's picked off in this series so far with Stalkers is absolutely wild. He's got a Zealot flank preparing to come in from the left to clean up the tanks, and that's going to drag Widow Mine shots onto the tanks as well, guys. He's delaying right now. He's got 4 Immortals in there as well. He's going to go for it. Zealots coming in from the left side, army coming in from the right. Oh, Byun getting surrounded here. The Widow Mines hitting his own units a little bit, but they do clear the Zealots out. Those 4 Immortals with Guardian Shield, though, that is an unassailable wall of Protoss. He's got to get out of there. Byun quickly scrambling back to the center high ground. Zest's economy surprisingly small still, guys. His main is only at 8 workers, natural 15. These Stalkers, remember, his natural's been walled off all game, and Zest's forgotten about it, so he's got a few Stalkers trapped there. He does need to fix that, blink those out, or just kill the bloody shield battery. You know, it's so weird to have your own base walled out. He's got more Zealots ready on that bottom left side. Byun, he's on equal workers. He's actually just taken the worker lead. The problem for him, of course, is going to be the Psystorm and the 6 gas transition. He does not have ghosts, but he's got Liberators coming in. He's adding a Ghost Academy now. This game could still go either way. It's still very even in the supply. Units lost tab, a little better for Protoss so far. And Zest is, you know, he was up a base for a long time, but this is just how Mules versus Protoss work. People, I think, sometimes Terran players get a bit too, oh, he's always ahead on workers. If you fight well, you micro well the way Byun has, you can be down on bases a long time. As long as you take the fights at the correct moments in the game, you can do a lot with that. 3 Tech Labs, 2 Reactors, so a very standard kind of compositional layout here for Byun. 7 Medevacs. He's got 3 Ghosts on the way, but they're not ready yet, guys. Storm is finished. Is there a Warp Prism? There is. Storm drop on the mineral. Oh no! Guys. He's going to distract on the front is Zest, and he Storm drops the workers! Except he doesn't, because he gets distracted and he F2s his Prism back. Then he realizes, wait, oh, I should do that. He misses his opportunity. He only gets 7 workers. And he flies back. Dude, I was talking about Byun having dangerous drop paths. Dude, Zest, absolute mad lad, decides to fly right through the open ground after showing the storm drop. These guys are both psychopaths. Seriously, if I'm ever at an event in Korea and Zest or Byun offer me a ride in their car to go get dinner or something, I'll go, no fucking thanks, I'm gonna take a taxi. You guys are dangerous, dude. They'll probably drive on the wrong side of the road towards incoming traffic. They'll be like, no, it's their job to get out of the way. You guys are crazy. Byun now going to try and capitalize on this. There's not too much Psystorm out. He's about to get energy. It's not quite there. It's about to kick in. Byun cops a big storm there. Ooh, Widowmines on the Zealots. Run south. Byun. Oh my god, he stims towards the prism. Byun, no. Oh man, that was a wild choice. When he saw the High Templar didn't quite have energy, I think he was like, oh, he forgot Storm? Because then he walks into it. He walks into the Psystorm, but then he needed to get out of there, man. He needed to get out of there. That was a disaster for Byun. Zest takes the 2-1 lead. All right, going across the map with a very early probe in map 4. He wants to go check he's not getting proxy barracks, get some harassment off as well. This is Zest. Down in the bottom left-hand side, representing Shopify Rebellion, this is Byun. Oh, Dot's just brought me some food. Oh, is that Japanese curry? Yes. Oh, she just brought me a bowl of Japanese curry. Luckiest man alive. Very excited. And that probe coming in does delay the barracks already by about a second. Oh, actually, no, the barracks went down right on time. I'm surprised Zest doesn't try a little bit more to block the barracks with that probe. He just goes for the damage. Fair enough. It's pretty standard opening for Byun, who needs to leave it. Yeah, you got to leave an SCV over there to fight that probe when it comes up the ramp. Taste my drill! And he raises the depot as well, just to divert that probe just a little bit. The SCV happens to shuffle over, and he says, okay, let's just swap this around. Get a healthy SCV on there, fix things up a little bit, no worries. And the SCV's taking turns drilling that probe. Okay, no Nexus yet, so he's going to go Cybercore Nexus, it looks like is Zest. The SCV does chase that probe down, trying to get damage on it. He wants to get that damaged so that by the time he has 400 minerals down here, that the probe can't really block it too much. See, Zest realizes, oh, I know you can have that minerals in a second. Quick, block. And only delays it by about a second, so not a big deal at all. It is Marine into a quick reactor. Marine comes out, and he does show that. This is a semi-final match for anyone just tuning in. Zest, I mean, and Byun have both shown some strange points of weakness. It really could have been a 3-0 for Zest. Game 2, I think, was a little bit of a mishap there for Zest, for showsies. Now, Byun's going to play that 3 barracks again, this time off a reactor first. You know what? I didn't mind his build from game one actually. Beyond with I guess I just never like the Tech Lab Marauder opening. For me, that just always feels a bit shit. Bit slow to get up the double marine production when you delay the reactor that long. But I like the follow up, the 2 barracks build that he does, very marine tank heavy for a bit. It's a very, very good way of doing it. So it's a pretty standard Twilight Council build, nothing crazy here from Zest. And where's his adept? Just purely defensive scouting denial focus play. Obviously a Reaper could hop up there, so you can see he shuffles the adept to kind of get in between both paths. He's now going to go for a shade, just waiting for that stalker to pop. And Tech Lab going down on the 2nd barracks and on the 3rd barracks immediately. Beautiful play here so far. We can see the APM tab in the top right. So people were asking about that. Obviously, it's just spamming right now. Early game, there's not that much going on. But as the game goes on, seeing where that settles, the average is kind of interesting. At this point, they're just kind of double-checking things, moving their scouts around, that sort of stuff. Ooh, gonna go for a 2-gate Robo into a 3rd. That's a very quick 3rd base. Now, the Adept does not realize that he's up against a 3-racks. If he let the Shade finish, he'd be able to see that barracks, which is why I always refer to this as a bit of a lazy placement. Because if they do let the Shade finish, you're giving them free scouting. But it's so rare that Protoss throw the Adept away for that. So I understand why people do it. Stalker Adept, more Stalkers warping in. Robo's almost finished there. Oh, okay. So the question is, how much does Byun commit to this attack? I see lots of Marauders already being added in. I do wonder when we're going to see that factory, because he's already got a 2nd gas. I think we'll see the factory go down about 420. So expect maybe this SCV, one of these SCVs to start the factory pretty soon. He's already got the engineering bay on the way, actually. So we prioritized engineering bay over factory. It's not bad. Do like those upgrades. And Zest has no idea this is coming right now. Oh, Zest has no idea this is coming. And he'll intercept it in the middle of the map. That's not going to give him a lot of time to respond. He has no shield batteries. He might just die. He might just die. Oh, and if Byun goes to the right, the Stalkers wouldn't even see him. Ah, okay. The Stalkers will see him here. 1 Marine down. Remember, no medevacs. He doesn't want to stim till he gets up in the base of Zest. But Zest right now, 2-gate production. If Byun pushes into the natural, like, he might just win the game. There is 7 Stalkers ready with no shield batteries. The problem is Byun doesn't know about the lack of shield batteries. So he was waiting for stim. Shields, they've both kicked in. He says, let's go! He's going to stim in towards that 3rd. The Stalkers wisely disengage. 1 Stalker goes down. Make it 2. Doesn't quite get the 3rd there. And stim will run out. So this is... Oh, he turns around. He's going to try and control the high ground. But the Adept on the Watchtower. Really nice vision there for Zest. Now, Zest can lose the 3rd and still be okay. But that's another stim. And I think that's an overextension for Byun. Chasing the Stalkers was a huge mistake. He needed to go for the probes, but I think he was expecting batteries and whatnot to be there. He was not expecting to catch Zest this unprepared. Focuses down. He accidentally clicks on the Nexus there. He meant to click on the Stalker. So a bit of a mistake there for Byun, and he ends up trading very poorly, despite catching a very greedy Zest, who... You can defend with Zest's opening, but you're meant to have at least 1 or 2 shield batteries. So I think Byun there, just maybe moving out a little bit too early before his upgrade's finished, and then not committing into the natural. The thing is, in the natural, the probes can't evacuate as quickly as the Stalkers, so they kind of have to stand and fight when you go and fight the probes. Of course, this wall-off is what's so scary, because they can force field it. You don't really want to stop and kill buildings. That being said, Robo, it's got less hit points than a Gateway or a Cybercore by quite a bit. And it's a very expensive, important structure. So I would have liked to see Byun be maybe a little more patient on the stim, only stimming some of his units at first, potentially, and focus on that natural once the Stalkers started blinking back.
Thanks for the bait.
Why do people spam? So I guess what I mean is you're kind of cycling through things constantly as a high-level player to check what's going on and doing tasks. In the early game, you don't have that many tasks to do, so there's a lot of just double-checking and giving the same order you've already given just to confirm that the right order's being given, making sure you've clicked in just the right place, making sure your control groups are just right. And later on, those all end up being spread across individual tasks rather than kind of redoing the same task a few times and cycling back through and double checking and triple checking. Because as the game gets bigger, you've got more and more things to focus on. So you naturally just do one thing once and, you know, you're already at the edge of your abilities with what you can focus on. Now, Byun does get a few kills there, and remember, 3-Racks armies just build a crazy amount of units. Zest has been insanely greedy, and no shield battery or cannon on the main or the natural. He's going to be so force field reliant here. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 force fields, soon to be 6. A few stalkers there. Byun, don't go up there. Byun has a better army right now. Oh, he tries to shove. Byun can pull back from that. He loses a few units, but that's okay, guys. He's got 4 medevacs now. Byun's third command center is almost finished as well, which is really nice. This observer's still seeing units rally out of the base. He's going to keep pushing forward. As long as he doesn't go to the third, but goes to the natural, I think Byun might be able to overwhelm him. There's still a lot of stalkers that can, of course, blink back. Don't go to the third base. There's lots of shield batteries up there, and that immortal starts to do some work. So Byun is going to fall back now. He's bled out some units. And remember, Zest has a giant economy. After the first fight went so well, he went mega greedy. Second robo, or new robo to replace his robo. Templar archives, all that comes in. The adept here does see for Zest, by the way, the army, and he should cancel that shade. He might forget to do it. He's got more important things to worry about than an adept at this point. So he's instead setting a giant zealot backstab across the map, and Byun's going to get caught by it, guys. These zealots going to cause him a big problem. Now, it's just 3 zealots that he'll see at first. That's good that Byun gets a little bit of early warning there. He's going to try and shove the ramp. Don't go up there. Don't go up there, Byun. Ooh, okay. Pull back, Byun. Pull back. Okay, he's going to lose another Marauder there, potentially. And is this third mineral line definitely looking exposed? Byun's trying to push the front to punish the fact that so many zealots went across the map. This fight now, very important for Byun. But 2 cannons, 2 batteries anchoring that position. The Widow Mines don't get the hits they wanted. They hit individual zealots. Zest with very good micro to disengage. Cleans out the third base, and he's actually bringing those zealots home to help his defense now. He says, I've done the economic damage. I forced the lift. We're all good. A gateway does go down there. I mean, that's something. But it's nowhere near as important as killing a Forge, a Twilight, a Templar Archives, a Robo. And the Zealot flank coming on in. Byun's got to get out of dodge right now. He's got move and shoot, move and shoot. He's trying to do a bit more moving than shooting because he knows if he stops and fights, he will lose this army. Trades out okay at the end of that. But his work account, very weak. He's massing mules on the third because he realizes right now he's taken a lot of economic damage. He's got to make up for that. Behind this, Psystorm is on the way. Immortals still building. Immortals seem to be the most important part of Zest's army in this series. And Byun's got a big army. He's got only 5 medevacs right now. He's lost a couple of them in these skirmishes, or just one actually has gone down. Pushing these ramps, so scary, man. Another big attack coming in, and this time a much more conservative rally point. We want to see Byun just pull back, grab this, stim it over there, and I think he can handle it this time around. Oh, he's going to try and push forward. More zoning force fields. Zest is very afraid to fight right now. He's so zealot heavy. He needs Psystorm. High Templar are gathering energy right now, guys. He's on 67 energy on those 2 High Templar. They're going to have energy in about 8 seconds. And when that energy kicks in, they're looking good. Byun sees where these zealots are. He realizes what he's up against. Those are going to swing back around and hit his third. Zest not making it easy for him. Zest doing everything he can. Force fields, zealot backstabs to buy time. And now as Storm kicks in, I think Byun's going to get overly aggressive. I actually think Byun should chill and fall back. He's going to try and force his way in. Watch out. Oh, he does get nice force fields, does Zest. And Immortal goes down. Watch out for the High Templar. Run, Byun. Get on out of there. He does clear some units, but a lot of sentries survive. Gets a few of those units down, but the supply now for Zest, very scary. And you actually need Vikings to deal with the Storm drop. So without Vikings, Byun's in trouble. Byun's in trouble. Oh no, he doesn't realize that Storm's ready. He doesn't realize this army's out here. Watch the Storm drop! No! Big storms landing all over Byun's face. Zest, the Chad. But wait. I think at least one of those High Templar got EMP'd before it could storm, and he loses all of his Immortals. No way! I've got to rewind that fight. At the end of this series, guys, remind me in the chat when this series looks like it's getting to the end, because it looks like Byun actually managed to spread well enough against the Storms. He didn't take the big critical hit that I thought he would. I thought the Marauders were going to get slaughtered by the Immortals, but maybe they were mostly hitting Marines, and now he's got Ghosts out. It's 3 base versus 3 base. The second Robo and the Robo Bay transition are on the way for Zest. So he's going to start Colossus. Can be very effective against this army. Stalker still being annoying. He's still got those cannons and batteries to fall back on. And 2 High Templar with Storm. So he's gonna look maybe for one more of those. No, just patrol for now. Zealots once again going for the backstab. Still no wall on the natural. I do find a little baffling for Byun. And he's still rallying out across the map, which is a really, really dangerous habit. He does have a Widow Mine on the right, but here we go. More Zealots where that came from. The Widow Mine's actually very good at defending this. And this is why I always say, like, if you get put a Widow Mine out there, against a guy who does a lot of Zealot run bys like Zest, it can be really good. Without Vikings to shoot down the Prism, you can't really get rid of that. It's just too difficult. Oh! Nice micro by Zest. Gets 2 Widow Mines for free there. Zealots come in. They do go down. 4th Command Center is on the way. It's 1-1 upgrades for Terran, whereas it's 2-1 for Protoss. And with Disruptors now coming out, he's already got... we actually cancelled Colossus. He's just going straight Disruptors. Stalkers do clear the left watchtower. Zest is on a very low supply count. This is actually a point where a drop in the main could win the game for Byun. But the observer coverage, look at this ring of defensive vision. I always talk about it. When Zest's on the offense, he pushes his observers forward. When he's on the defense, he sets up this ring of vision and he shuffles it around to wherever he needs it to be. He's one of the most active observer microing players. And it doesn't sound like the most exciting thing, but the way he moves them around is really good. And right now, he sees what's up. Zealots on the left, Disruptors and Stalkers just trying to stall out any push. And that's important because the upgrades are clawing ahead for Zest. He's adding a lot of Disruptors. He's already got the Storm Drop, so he's got a ton of splash damage. He does spot the Zealots, does Byun, and he's like, oh, you cheeky bugger, get back here. Warp Prism on the top left as well is ready to go into the main, but the Marine Marauder comes forward. A few Marines will go down, not the end of the world. Meanwhile, bit of a skirmish out there. Disruptor does show itself. Zealots going down. Remember, +1 upgrade advantage right now. But second eBay's on the way. He just cancelled, I don't know if that was a second armory he was building or what. 4th base is there. We'd like to see a planetary, of course, erect itself in the near future. Very oversaturated on the natural. So securing a 4th is going to keep that Terran income smooth. At this point, though, Dark Templar are here. And we have seen Zest do some of the most disgusting comebacks with Dark Templar. I don't even know if we'd call it a comeback this game. Prism in the main got spotted going past. Byun does not notice those Dark Templar walking past him, does he? Uh-oh. DT there. Hopefully he's got scans available. Oh my god. Guys, he doesn't have scans. Guys, he doesn't have scans. He's been dropping mules. Oh, he used an EMP there. His natural. Oh, if he double scans, that could work out. There's a DT, 2 DTs there. Okay, so he scans there. He gets those 2 DTs. Dude. It's another 15 seconds. 20 seconds till he gets another scan, guys. It's another 15, 20 seconds till he gets a scan. 13 SCVs go down. And look at that cheeky little bugger. Hides in the back, comes on in and says, "From behind I ravage." I'm sorry, guys. Some of you might have imagined Dark Templar are really cool. Let's just be real. If you're fucking invisible and your whole job is just coming in sneakily, stabbing people in the back, at a certain point, it makes you a demented Joker-like character. Most Dark Templar are the strangest people. If you have this conversation with them, it will make your skin crawl. They are creepy bastards. Now, Byun's still up 60 supply. But Zest's army quality is infinitely stronger. He's going to try and drop the main there. He tries to pick up some more units. No. Byun, you crazy dude. You telegraphed that way too hard. You can't then go in. You got to wait in the dead space. Throws away a few units. Thankfully, he doesn't lose everything. Dude, look at the observer vision. Look at the observer vision. This is, yeah, you actually need a Raven. If you want to play this slow late game against Zest, you either need to get like 5 orbitals and just scan everywhere on the map, because he gets so many observers out. He knows as long as he's looking, he can always zone you out with Blink Stalkers to stop drops and Mass Disruptor Storm to stop everything else. I mean, this is actually so hard for Byun. Oh, 2 Ghosts and a Marauder go down to that Disruptor shot. Libs are the answer at this point. For those who don't know, Zest's late game in this matchup is very weak. He doesn't really have an end game. He can play early late game, late mid game. He can mass DTs, Stalkers, Disruptors, and do it like a god. But if you do go range Libs, if you get into a very high tier army, add some extra static defenses, planetaries, and so on, he really does struggle. But you give him this sort of game, blink in, do damage, recall out, run around with Blink Stalkers, run around with Disruptors, he will be okay with it. And you see Byun only now going up to 7 barracks, not even 8, can't afford it. Doesn't have a 5th command center, doesn't have a 6th command center. And that's the sort of stuff we've seen both Kua and Maru frustrate Zest and kind of point out, dude, you have a, like, you actually, like, we don't really like playing late game, but you have no idea how to play late game compared to us. Like, Kua and Maru have shown that Zest is very lacking at that stage. Byun, though, is never really a late game player. He's going to come in with a big spready. Watch out for the Disruptors. Big ball on the left. Only hits a single Ghost. Oh, good Disruptor shots, dude. Byun wants to punish him, but it's so hard to get on top. And a massive DT backstab is going to jump on him. And you can't really deal with that while also dealing with so many Disruptor shots on your face. That cannon finishes and says, goodbye, Widow Mine. Takes it out. Watch out, guys. That is a lot of DTs. They could catch the rally as well. Lots of cannons, batteries, 3 disruptors still out there. How do you push here is beyond range liberators. You need some sort of siege unit. Look at this. Ow, ow, ow. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, I'm going up, baby. I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon, baby. I'm floating up. And I want the world to know. That Marauder, I don't know if I've seen the funny Reaper death animations where they float up like an angel. I don't know if I've seen a Marauder one like that before. For those who don't know, we are on 2,000 atmospheres. This is the bottom of the ocean floor that this map's being played on right now. Marine Marauder Ghost looking good. Stargate in the back looking fantastic. 8 Disruptors, 22 Stalkers, 11 Dark Templar, and 4 High Templar. So it's a fantastic army that all gets countered by Liberators, guys. A lot more Ghosts on the way. You can deal with this with Ghosts, but I'm telling you, Byun might exacerbate his wrist injuries trying to dodge versus this many Disruptors. It's really hard to do. Blink DT. Oh, we could still get hunted down. No, we can't. Disruptors are there. Big Daddy Disruptor's going to protect you. That's a Marauder there. Nice clip. Remember, the vision advantage is still there in a big way for Zest. Byun with it. What's he doing? Ooh, Byun, this don't make sense. I think he thought his Marauders would be able to reach across the gap. Byun's looking a little lost at how to progress at this point of the game, guys. He's headbutting into Disruptors. And Zest almost friendly fires his DTs, but... I mean, I'm amazed the unit's lost tabs as even as it is. These fights, just, to me, they look terrible for Terrans. So, and it's more important that Byun just looks a little lost in terms of what to do. He scans. He's looking for observers right now. That's a very common spot for an observer. Thinks about going in. The Disruptors just wait. Great discipline from Zest, who's going into Sky Toss now. Widowmine's defending from the DTs there. He's got 3 carriers on the way. He does start Plasma Shields, +1 air weapons, and the DT's continuing to harass. I think, honestly, yeah, it looks like Zest is going a little deeper into the game than Byun, because Byun just keeps saying, hey, I maxed trade bio away. But look, he's on 40 SCVs now. He's taken so much economic damage, which he's not rebuilding. And he's not rebuilding command centers either. So he's really got to be building mass orbital if he wants to play late game versus Zest. But Byun still here in this mid-game comp. He's looking for observers with scans. He's looking to find fights. And I think Zest is realizing that if he just sits there behind his wall and throws Disruptors out, Byun doesn't seem to have a late game plan whatsoever. He seems to just be like, nah, as long as there's enough movement, 95% of TVPs are solved by just Biomine Ghost, maybe add a few Vikings, get in there, use some multi-prong. So I mean, normally Byun's plan is solid, but Zest is basically saying, well, if I just sit behind my shit with Disruptors, like, I'm going to transition carriers, and that is a very good army. You can still lose with carriers. They can get focused down by Vikings. The Marines and Ghosts can clear the Interceptors very quickly. But I mean, Zest is just setting up a very slow situation, and... Ooh, yeah, you need to double EMP those High Templar. He's going to go for it. But he's got to get out. The army's there. The army's there. Byun, back off, back off, back off. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. Not too bad there for Byun. Tries to push in on the left. Looks like... Ooh, most of the Disruptor shots are gone. There's some Storms backing it up. One last Storm hits in a big way. But he gets on top of the expensive units, takes him out. It's a good trade for Byun. It's a really good trade. Now, this is a very unimportant base, and the army's there. At least he sees the carriers, which is nice. He's going to trade these units out on the Stalker Sentry. And he's going to try to push in on the right. Oh, no! Balls! A couple Marauders going down in the first wave. That Disruptor goes down. That Disruptor... Oh, he clicked on the wrong unit! Byun! Oh, he didn't have that trademark Focus Fire Micro, and he does go down there. Zest, I said, has a late game weakness. Well, his late game's a little better than Byun's. GG, well played. For those who don't know, by the way, he was planning to get up to about 4 to 6 carriers and then stay on mostly Stalker Disruptor. Sometimes he'll get 10 carriers, but he never adds Storm, Tempests, or Forward Static on the map, and that's why Zest's really weak against a player who knows how to use Vikings and Libs or Battle Cruisers very effectively, because he never builds the proper endgame comp. He just kind of adds carriers to a pretty basic mid-game army, which is not bad, especially when you defend that well. GG, well played. Zest takes the 3-1, goes to the grand finals.